What's up, guys? Kamikaze Fox coming to you once again from SRL. What's up, guys? Season 8, round 20 here at the Suzuka Raceway in Japan. As the season winds down, we're getting ready to do a 18-minute short qualifying session followed by a 50% race here at Japan. And coming off of last race, round 19, the Miami Grand Prix on U.S. soil, our homeboy Logan Aron, the American from Pennsylvania, won the SRL Championship on home soil. So in the home car for Haas. So American driver wins in an American car on an American track, got the trifecta last time out, and clinches the championship with just a couple of rounds to go. That's Epic the Animal, Logan Aron, winning his first SRL championship and capitalizing on top of that. Round 19 at Miami saw us start with 17 drivers. Simone Mara, the newcomer to SRL, picked up his second pole position of the season, back-to-back since making his debut. Also walked away with the race win. Friab Bile would finish in second place. Last time out, it was his 7th podium of the season since joining SRL in the mid-season. Logan Aron managed to finish third. It was his 11th podium finish of the season. He needed to outscore his teammate Tim Ventic by 8 points and did that very easily, finishing in the third position. Nicolo Falzarezzi was 4th. Luke Smith was 5th. Sandro Dulius had a hard-fought and well-deserved 6th place finish as he went toe-to-toe with Tim Ventic in the closing laps of the race. Tim Ventic would finish 7th and ultimately 2nd in the championship point standings. Robin Herterstegen had a great run last time out, finishing 8th. And newcomer Noah Smith finished in the points, was 9th. And Vincenzo Torri was 10th. 11th was Nick Van Gelder. Jurma Rusic, his teammate, was 12th. Dion Stahl would finish 13th. And then 14th through 17th last time out was all DNFs. That was Christian Dorman with his 2nd DNF of the season. Senna Haywire with his 7th DNF of the season. Ivan Brito, unfortunately, Team Aston Martin. Senna and Ivan with his 9th DNF of the season. And newcomer Harley Collins, unfortunately, has only been in a couple races this year. He's got 2 DNFs to his credit. So we run down the driver lineup for today. We're looking at Sandro Dulius once again in the Ferrari. Logan Aron, your championship leader in the Haas. Actually, championship winner. Vincenzo Torri in the Alfa Romeo. Friab Bile in the Alpine. Jurma Rusic in the Red Bull. Robin Herterstegen in the McLaren. Christian Dorman in the Williams. Nick Van Gelder is going to be in the Red Bull. F1 Simo, I believe, is going to be Simone Mara in the Mercedes AMG Petronas. Dion Stahl in the Ferrari. Nicolo Falzarezzi in the Alfa Romeo. Ivan Brito in the Aston Martin. Jesper Lempinen in the AlphaTauri, along with Oleski. Luke Smith will be joining once again in the Mercedes AMG Petronas, and we are going to get ready to kick this off here in the next few minutes. We're waiting for a couple of more drivers to join. We've got the Gaudi on the live chat along with Sandro Dulius and Nick Van Gelder and SRL saying what's up to everyone. So as we said, Logan Aron is your championship winner of this season. Tim Ventic has clinched 2nd place. Team Haas will get not only the Drivers' Championship, but the Constructors' Championship. Now, there is still a fight for 3rd in the points. Oleski has 178 points to his credit, currently sitting in 3rd. Nicolo Falzarezzi is right behind him with 171 points. And Friab Bile is still in contention for that 3rd spot with 154. And then if you go back a little bit, you've got a fight for 6th in points between Sandro Dulius and Vincenzo Torri. Vincenzo's got 130 points to his credit. Sandro Dulius is right behind him with 127 points. 8th, 9th, and 10th are actually all backup drivers or drivers that don't exist anymore, unfortunately. Jensen Randall is a reserve driver. He's 8th in points with 101. Luke Smith, also a reserve driver, 9th in points with 89. And then Max Mulder, who has been banned for the rest of the season due to some off-track confrontations, still sitting in the top 10 in points with 85. And it should be noted that Simone Mara has 51 points to his credit, currently sitting in 13th. I bring that up because he's only been in a couple of races and has managed to put 51 points on the board, back-to-back wins, back-to-back pole positions, plus a fastest lap. Simone Mara is going to be something to contend with if he continues to race with us into the next season. And some news and highlights from off of the track. Speaking of Haas, who obviously Logan Aron, we talked about, wins the championship, the Drivers' Championship. Haas wins the team championship. It should be noted that longtime Haas driver Reese March for SRL actually competed in the British Racing and Sports Car Club 24 Hours of Silverstone in real life. Reese March has gone from racing online to racing in real life. Former SRL driver, longtime Haas driver, along with his teammate Sam Brandt. Reese has recently contended in the BRSCC 24 Hours of Silverstone. Finished in the top half of the field. And he's also a driving instructor now for Everyman Racing Driving Experience in Britain. And it should also be noted, ironically, that Season 4 villain, Vasilios Belasiotis, the Greek, is recently just won the official iRacing 24 Hours of Nürburgring on the green hell, going toe-to-toe with Max Verstappen himself, beating him out. Vasilios Belasiotis currently races for the Williams Esports Racing Team, where they won the 2023 official iRacing 24 Hours of Green Hell. So congratulations to both of those former SRL drivers, both taking what they've learned here and applying it to real-life scenarios. Good to see that online racing is not just a game, as they say. We've got Whippo Film on the live chat as well, and yes, I am getting confirmation that F1 SEMO 7304 is Simone Mara, as I expected. And it looks like we're still waiting for a couple of more drivers to join. Guys running a little late this morning, which is not good. We don't want to be late for real F1 qualifying at Monaco this weekend. The biggest race weekend of the year. Sunday is going to be full of race cars. Monaco Grand Prix, well, for me in the morning, since I'm in America, but Monaco Grand Prix in the morning, backed up by the Indianapolis 500, which is then followed by the Coca-Cola 600. So I got F1, IndyCar, and NASCAR all racing tomorrow. ARCA and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series raced at Charlotte last night. Xfinity will be racing today. And it's Memorial Day weekend here in America. So what a weekend we have in store. And looks like, looks like we did get Tim Ventic, who has joined. Trying to see if any other newcomers have come in. Robin Herdestagen. Nick Van Gelder, he's usually late to the party anyways. And we go from racing at Miami, which is not necessarily a temporary street circuit. It is a permanent fixture outside of Miami in Dade County, Florida. But it is essentially a street race around the Hard Rock Hotel in Miami. We go from that to a more proper F1 track, good old Suzuka. So many memories from this track, most of which revolve around McLaren driver Ayrton Senna and his clashes that he had with Alan Prost with Team McLaren, or when he was with McLaren and Prost was with Ferrari. The infamous, if you no longer go for a gap, you are no longer a racing driver interview that he had with Jackie Stewart after the collision, which clinched Ayrton Senna's championship that year. And Sandro chatting that it was good to see Vasilios beating out Verstappen. Me personally, I'm a Max Verstappen fan. I was never a fan of Vasilios Belasiotis, and everybody knows that. That was a part of the league that year. It was quite a tumultuous year. That was when Racing Point was still in the pink cars. Season 4, that was Nick Van Gelder's championship-winning season. And part of the reason he got that championship win is because Vasilios and his teammate Francis McGinn at the time clashed at Brazil and basically took each other out and handed the championship to Nick. Looks like we've got Vincenzo Torri has joined. It looks like, and Panther. Is that Noah? I can't remember if Panther is Noah Smith or Harley Collins. I think that's Noah Smith that joined for the McLaren team. And Ivan Burrito saying he has shared the live stream with his friends, which is good. Ivan Burrito usually does have some Portuguese fans in the stands. Ivan, a longtime SRL driver, has shown flashes of speed this year. He's also shown, unfortunately, flashes of inconsistency. Leads the league in DNFs, unfortunately, but when he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's very, very off, unfortunately. But Ivan, great guy, longtime contender. And always good to have him with us on track. So getting ready to kick off this 18-minute short qualifying session, followed by a 50% race. See if there's going to be any weather to play with here at this weekend's Grand Prix here in Japan. And right now, looks like we've got some clear skies. 17 drivers for today's race. Let's see here. Let's get some lap data going. We'll get the track map up. Look at that beautiful track. I love Suzuka, one of my favorite tracks. It would probably be the one race I would love to contend with. I wouldn't be competitive by any means, but I just love this track, the flow of it, the speed of it. An absolutely wonderful track to drive on. And it looks like we've got one of the Alfa Romeos heading out, followed by one of the Haas's. If it's dry, that's probably Logan Aron heading out, and I want to say Niccolo Falzaresi, but we'll find out here in just a second. And it was Falzaresi and Logan Aron that rolled out. Falzaresi is the first one out on track as we head up through the S's. Such a fast-flowing part of this track. Very crucial to get right, especially this last right-hander that tightens up just a little bit. And you get the winding left-hander where you're going to be full throttle. And you got this very fast right-hander, this kink here. Hard on the brakes, and then underneath the tunnel. Down into the hairpin. And then you're on the gas, even though this is just an outlap. Niccolo still trying to get on it just a little bit. He threw his tires up, and you head down into a very complicated corner here. This is Spoon. It's a very interesting turn. It's very deceiving. It tightens up a little bit, and then you're out onto the back straightaway. And you got this massive, massive high-speed corner, the 190R, that's going to shoot you out onto the short chute, and then down into the hairpin, where we've seen so many collisions throughout the years. Go through the chicane, and then you're back onto the front straightaway. We're going to hop on board with Niccolo Falzaresi as he starts his first timed lap of the session. And turn one, very deceiving as well. We saw Fernando Alonso lose his championship there back in 2014. Through the S's, tiptoeing it just a little bit here through here. Falzaresi trying to stay as close to those curves as possible. Front end looks like it's washing out on him just a little bit. And the yellow flags flying in sector 1. Don't know what that's about. Possibly just some slow cars trying to get on their outlap. And Falzaresi looks like he's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. He might be a little too far back for it to make much of a difference right now, but he's on a flyer, and he is catching up quick through the hairpin here. And that car is going to move to the side, hopefully let him go. Doesn't take up too much room. Looks like that's one of the Ferraris. Looks like that's going to be probably Sandro Dulius. Falzaresi down into Spoon. This very tricky corner. It's very deceiving. Starts out very fast, tightens up very quick. Runs it wide coming out of the corner, out on the back straightaway, full throttle. And then you're just going to stay on the throttle. No lift here through the 190R. Magical corner where Fernando Alonso made that outside pass on Michael Schumacher back in 2006. Down into the hairpin. And that chicane's been changed a couple of times throughout the years. And Falzaresi is going to come across the line with a 129.283. He's going to be the first one to set a time. Logan Aron shouldn't be too far behind him. Logan hasn't validated his lap time. That's why he did not see him set a time. Looks like Nick Van Gelder's also on a validated lap time. Pick up Robin Herderstag, and he's coming down to the chicane now. He'll be able to set a time. And Herderstagen's going to come across the line, 1:32.669. We see Jesper Lempinen sets a time of 1:39.29. Aleski's gone second quickest so far, 1:29.776. Pick up Tim Ventic, who is out on some wet tires for some reason. Not sure what's going on there. Tim clearly making a mistake. I'll pick up Dion Stahl. Looks like he's in Sector 2 right now. He's on it through the 190R down into the chicane. And Nicolo Falzarezzi, who's your provisional pole sitter, 1:29.283. Dion comes across the line with a 1:31.170. Let's pick up Friab Belay. He is down at the chicane now. And Friab Belay, 1:29.852, good enough for third quickest, and he's only the third driver to crack into the 1:29 so far. Everybody else looks like they've dived into the pits. We've got Christian Dorman, Tim Ventic on some outlaps. Tim was out on the track on some wet tires. I'm sure that was a mistake. Ivan Brito has set a time of a 1:47.288. Oh, and he just lost the back end heading through Spoons, so he's lost control of his car. Ooh, Panther goes around. I believe that is Noah Smith and down into turn 1, but he did set the 5th quickest time so far, 1:39.35. He's just off the cusp of 4th by Jesper Lempinen. Looks like Tim Ventic may have started his hot lap. Looks like he's out on wet tires again. So are we perhaps having an issue with the lobby? Is there a little bit of a glitch going on here with Tim's car? Maybe having a lobby issue. Haven't seen this. Sam Brandt telling me it's the 130R. I thought I was saying 130R. So Tim's out on wet tires. We're not too sure about that. We'll pick up Christian Dorman in Lou Williams. We also have Ava on the live chat cheering on Nick. Ava is Nick's girlfriend, so she always joins in to try and watch him participate. Nick currently has not set a time, so we'll pick him up as soon as we're done here. 10 minutes left in this qualifying session as we ride along with Christian Dorman, who's yet to set a time. Only 9 drivers have set times. 1:29.283 is your provisional pole time. Only 3 drivers in the 1:29s. We've yet to see a time from Logan Arond, who's back into the pits. He invalidated his first lap time, and it looks like sounded like Dorman here got off the throttle a little bit coming out of the 130R. Tries to stay with it, goes 1:33.691, but it looks like that did not register. Did he invalidate his lap time that I don't know about? And now there's a caution flag, Sector 1 and 2, Sector 1, Sector 1, 2, and 3. I don't see anything on the track map that would indicate that. I think we might be having some weird lobby issues. A couple of things here aren't adding up for me on this as we pick up Vincenzo Torri, who is also yet to set a time. We do have a slow car on track, but that would not be... wouldn't generate a full course caution there for that split second. Vincenzo Torre does go fourth quickest, though. 1:32.80, bumps Jesper Lempinen. Let's see if we can pick up Simone Mara. We haven't seen him set a time yet either, as he comes down to the start-finish line, and he is going to go 1:29.060. So he just set the fastest lap of qualifying. He is 0.2 of a second quicker than Nicolo Falzaresi. Falzaresi is back on an out lap. Let's pick up Logan around here. Logan heading down into turn 1. Currently has not set a lap time so far. We've got a car around. That was one of the AlphaTauris. We're right along with Logan around through the S's. His team has already locked up the championship, but still racing for pride. He's going to want to get that win. Going to want to add to the stats here. Another win, another podium as he goes around the McLaren. And we do have Nick Van Gelder on an out lap. Luke Smith is currently on an out lap. Luke Smith doesn't usually qualify. He usually likes to start from the back and work his way to the front. Run an opposite tire strategy of most drivers. We'll continue to watch Logan around down the back straightaway, heading towards the 130R. Maybe I was saying 190 earlier. I meant 130. We've got Johnny Puffins on the live chat cheering on Ivan Brito. Ivan currently sitting at a 1:47.288, slowest time as Logan dives back into the pits. So that was uneventful. Yerma Rusic has gone 9th quickest with a 1:32.048. So good on him. Tim Ventic currently still in the pits. We're trying to watch Tim Ventic. We'll pick up Friab Bile though. Looks like Friab Bile is starting a hot lap now. And he is off of the pace as he heads into turn 1. So let's pick up Oleski, see where Oleski's at. Oleski currently 4th quickest. Looks like he was on an out lap. Starts a flying lap this time by. And Oleski, remember, Oleski's in that championship fight for essentially 3rd in the points. Got 178 points to his credit. Nicolo Falzaresi, who is currently 2nd in qualifying here. Whoa, and Oleski's lost the front end, runs it into the gravel. He'll keep it out of the wall, but that is going to ruin that hot lap. But he is battling for 3rd in the championship. Falzaresi is currently 2nd in the grid. 4th in points, 171 points to his credit. So 3rd and 4th there in the point standings. Right now 2nd and 4th on the timing sheets. Let's see if we can pick up Christian Dorman. He's tried setting a time a couple of times this qualifying session. Less than 5 minutes to play as he heads through the chicane. Looks like this is possibly an out lap. Gets ready to start a flyer as he comes down to the front straightaway. So interestingly enough, still no time set by Team Haas. Logan Aron has not set a time. Tim Ventic is currently back in the pits. He's been out on the track a couple of times. Oh, and Dorman, woo! Now the yellow flags were flying when he came up on that section. That car was trying to come back onto the track. So, oh, and Dorman's lost the front end through that corner. He's going to go into the grass. So let's pick up Sandro Julius. Currently on a flyer, heads through the 130R down into the hard chicane here. The end of this track, see what kind of time he can set. currently registered 14th with no time. He's going to put himself on the timing charts. 4th quickest, 1:29.697 for Sandro Dorius. Great qualifying effort for him. And time is winding down. It doesn't look like there's really anybody else out on track. We saw Christian Dorman, but he had gone off. Looks like Ivan Brito is coming out. He'll start an out lap. Try and improve that 1:47.288. I know Ivan's got more speed in him than that. Currently 12th quickest, though. We've got a whole slew of drivers that have yet to set a time. Christian Dorman, Tim Ventic, Luke Smith, Logan Aron, and Nick Van Gelder. Looks like Nick is heading out onto the track now, so... We do have Nicolo Falzaresi on an out lap, so he's heading down the back straightaway now. He'll be the first one to start a timed lap of this group that we just picked up. So Falzaresi currently second quickest so far in qualifying with a 1:29.283. He was the first driver to set a time. Simone Mara out-qualified him by 0.2 of a second, 1:29 flat for Simone Mara as we ride along with Nicolo Falzaresi. And NSGF1 says he spun as well. I'm not sure who that is in relation to his gamer tag here, but apparently we had a driver spin. Also watching the live stream as we continue to ride along with Nicolo Falzaresi through the S's and up the hill. Back under through underneath the bridge into the hairpin here. Try to get that car to rotate back on the throttle. Into Spoon that starts wide, tightens up towards the end, back on the throttle, down the back straightaway. Through the 130R. And Jesper Lempinen is retired from the session. Not sure if he's had a problem on track or if he's just calling it a day, but he's going to be locked in at 1:30.929. Good enough for 7th place so far. Here comes Falzaresi. And he goes 1:28.990. He's the only driver to crack into the 1:28s. Good for Falzaresi, a provisional pole sitter. Simone Mara. He is just now starting his hot lap. Heading through the S's. Caution flag flies sector 2. That's at the hairpin. Meanwhile, Logan Aron has come out of the pits. He's on a out lap, riding along with Simone Mara as time begins to wind down on this qualifying session. Simone Mara coming up on that slower car. No, he is not quite there yet. And it looks like time is up, so hot laps will count. We've got, like I said, we've got a whole slew of drivers that have yet to set a time. Simone Mara through Spoon right now. And now Simone is coming up on that slower car. Looks like that is going to be Noah Smith. Looks like there was one of the McLarens, and Ivan Burrito's retired from the session. Unfortunately, his time is going to be locked in at that 1:47.288, which is the slowest time so far. I mean, good enough for 12th, but that's because all these other drivers have yet to set a time. Here comes Simone Mara. Does they have anything for the pole position? And a 1:28.746. Nicolo Falzaresi and Simone Mara swapping fastest laps. We'll pick up Friat Bile. He is currently 3rd quickest on the charts. He's coming down the back straightaway, getting a little bit of a slipstream off of the car in front of him. He's also going to get a little bit of aero wash heading through that 130R. Got another car off track. This is a Ferrari here that he's rolled up on. Friabile, 129 flat, improves his time, but not his position. We'll see who we can pick up here. Pick up Christian Dorman as he comes across the line, and he's going to be the last one to set a timed lap. And that was good enough for 14th place. So an interesting qualifying session. A lot of drivers who did not set times, but Simone Mara picking up his third pole position in as many races. Followed by Nicolo Falzarezzi, Friabile. Logan Aron finally does set a time at a 1:29.087. He'll be starting in fourth. Oleski be starting in fifth. Sandro Dulius is sixth. Vincenzo Torri will be seventh. Dion Stahl eighth. Jesper Lempinen is ninth. Noah Smith is 10th. Jurma Rusic will be 11th. Robin Herderstegen is 12th. And Ivan Brito will be starting in the 13th position. Christian Dorman was not able to set a time, nor Tim Ventic. Luke Smith usually does not set a time, and not sure what's going on with Nick Van Gelder, but he did not set a time. He'll be starting in the 17th position. So we just did our 18-minute short qualifying session. We're going to back that up with a 50% race. Looks like we've got clear skies ahead of us heading into today's Grand Prix. We'll run down the driver lineup one more time in the starting grid on the formation lap. And it looks like we've got Verdade 86 on the live chat, cheering on Ivan Brito as well. So Ivan's definitely got some fans in the stands this race. Unfortunately, wasn't able to put up a good qualifying session. Was the last driver to set a time. However, it was the slowest time. Again, Ivan has struggled a lot this year, but he's also had some really good races. Spa comes to mind, where he went toe-to-toe with a lot of drivers at Spa, put some points on the board for Aston Martin. It was a really good race for him. We're hoping that he can do something like that again today. So we're going to run down the starting grid for today's race here on the formation lap. Simone Mara with his third pole position in as many races. He just joined this league a couple of races ago. He's gone 2 for 2 with 2 pole positions, 2 wins in 2 races. Can he make it a third in the row? Followed by Nicolo Falzarezzi. Falzarezzi is fighting for third in that championship. He's got 171 points to his credit. He's just behind Oleski for that third spot. Oleski's got 178 points. Friabile continues his impressive run of podium finishes and top 6 finishes. He's never finished outside the top 6. Starting in third position, Logan Aron, who clinched the championship last time out, is racing for pride today. Doesn't need to win, doesn't need to put any points on the board, but he's going to try and do it anyways as he starts in the 4th position. Followed by Oleski, again, 3rd in the point standings, still fighting for that 3rd spot. And Sandro Dulius with a great qualifying effort, starting in 6th. He finished 6th last week, where he went wheel-to-wheel with Tim Ventic at Miami and took the spot away from him. A great race for him last time out. Vincenzo Torri is going to be starting in 7th. Vincenzo currently sitting in 6th in points and battling with Sandro Dulius for that 6th position in the point standings. He's got 130 points to his credit. Sandro Dulius is right behind him with 127. Dion Stahl in the other Ferrari will be starting in 8th, followed by Jesper Lempinen in the AlphaTauri. And Noah Smith starting in the 10th position. Noah did manage to finish 9th his last time out. He's new to SRL as well. Hopefully be running full-time next year. Jurma Rusic in the Red Bull starting in the 11th spot. Robin Herderstegen be starting in 12th. Finished in the points last time out. Had a great run to 8th. And then we've got Ivan Brito, who's got fans in the stands. Hopefully can put some points on the board, work his way into the top 10. And then we've got Christian Dorman. He's the first driver of the rest that did not set a time, starting in the 14th position. He'll be followed by Tim Ventic. Tim had some issues, it looked like, in qualifying. Had wet tires on his car at multiple stages on multiple laps. And then we've got Luke Smith. Luke, who does not usually set a time to begin with, likes to start in the rear, work his way to the front. And then Nick Van Gelder rounding out your 17 drivers for today's race. Not sure why Nick did not set a time, but he's going to have his work cut out for him as he'll be lining up dead last. And that's a great camera angle. Can't see crap. So we'll wait for the 5 red lights that we can't see. Looks Looks like lights are out. Time to run what you brung. They're away in a puff of smoke, and it's a good start for Simone Mara and Free Abile and Logan Aron. Looks like Falzarezzi's going to fall through the gaps here a little bit and lose out on that. Oh, and he's made contact with Logan Aron. Oh, and he's made more contact with Logan. Oh, and Logan is pushed off into the grass by Falzarezzi. Meanwhile, Simone Mara is going to be your leader, followed closely by Free Abile and Falzarezzi, and Sandro Dolius has worked his way up into the 4th position. And Noah Smith, look at Noah. From 9th to 5th, Vincenzo Torri coming up on him. Might have been Vincenzo and Falzarezzi that made contact with Logan Aron. Jesper Lempinen up into the 7th spot. Oh, looks like Christian Dorman making a move on Ivan Brito. Ivan gets back to the inside, takes the position back. Ivan up into 9th, battling it with Christian Dorman. They're running side by side as they head down towards Spoon. Ivan's going to take the position. Good on him, up into 9th. Christian trying to come back and go around the outside. Ivan's going to leave him just enough space, and they're going to ride side by side behind Dion Stahl. They get single file as they head through the 130R. Whoa, and here comes Dorman, and he's going to give the boot to Ivan Brito. And Dorman back to the inside. He's going to have wing damage, but gave him the old chrome horn. Pushed Ivan wide through the chicane. And now Dorman's got end plate damage on his left front wing. Oleski's headed into the pit. Oleski must have had contact. Looks like he'll be swapping out for tires and a wing. Tim Ventic is up to 11th. Oh, when somebody just ran wide, that's Christian Dorman, and that's what Dorman gets for giving the old chrome horn to Ivan Brito. Runs wide, loses the front end. He's got no downforce with that end plate gone. And he's going to come out right in front of Jur Marusic. Jur's going to take that position away and up in the 13th spot. And Dorman's still struggling to keep that car on track. And a caution flag flying at Sector 2. Uh-oh, looks like that might be Jesper Lempinen. Oh, and he just lost the front end wings. He tried to get back on track. Looks like he might have got clipped. And Jesper's lost his whole wing at this point, so he'll have to come in. So AlphaTauri, 16th and 17th right now. Bad day for them. Meanwhile, Simone Mara has not been able to pull away from Free Abile. Got a 3-car battle for this top position here. That's Simone Mara, Free Abile, and Nicolo Falzarezzi. And Sergio Dolius is not that far off of this battle as he's trying to close that gap down to Falzarezzi. Meanwhile, Noah Smith is all over the back of Vincenzo Torri for that 5th position. And Simone Mara just ran the fastest lap of this race, and we've got Ivan Brito running in the 8th position. Can't really see what's going on. Here we go. Down into turn 1, and he's battling with Dion Stahl for that 7th spot. They've got a caution flag flying in Sector 1, and these guys are coming up on that area now. Ivan tiptoeing through there just a little bit. Gets a good run. Coming up the hill, loses the back end. And Ivan is going to be... tried to get that throttle down. Here comes Noah Smith. He's going to go around him. Whoa, whoa! Ivan loses the back end again. He's got to let those tires cool down and get the grass off of them before he starts going back to full throttle. Oh, and he's continuing to struggle to get it going. However, cars in one piece did not make contact with anybody or anything, so Ivan's still able to run, currently in the 13th position. He's probably going to lose another couple positions. It's going to take about a half a lap for those tires to... the pressures to come down, for the crap to wear off, and get the traction back in them that he had. Meanwhile, we go back to the top. Simone Mara has now separated himself from Nicolo Falzarezzi by a second. Sandro Julius has worked his way up into third. Unfortunately, we missed that pass, and Friabile down into fourth. So Sandro up into the podium spots. Great for him. Friabile down into fourth. Not sure what happened there. Vincenzo Torri still running in fifth. And Ivan Brito, a 3-second time penalty. Things go from bad to worse as they continue to fall apart for Ivan here on lap 4. And caution flag flying in sector 3. And it looks like that might be Ivan Brito again, unfortunately, as he is now down into 14th position. As we continue to watch Vincenzo Torri close in on the back of Friabile, battle for the 4th position. Meanwhile, we do have Nick Van Gelder and Tim Ventic. Got ourselves a nice little battle heating up here. So this is Dion Stahl in the 6th position. He's got Tim Ventic behind him in 7th within DRS range. He's got Nick Van Gelder behind him within DRS range. And Luke Smith is up to 9th. So Nick Van Gelder and Luke Smith, who started 17th and 16th on the grid respectively, are now up into 8th and 9th. Logan Aron, who had that spin early on, went all the way to the back, is now starting to work his way to the front. He was 17th. He's now up into 10th. So here we go, Nick closing in on Tim Ventic. Tim Ventic closing in on Dion Stahl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 car battle. Meanwhile, Friabile has worked his way back towards the rear end of Sandro Julius, and he's closed the gap down to Sandro. He wants that 3rd position back. Yeah, Nick did come on the live chat a little while ago saying that he completely messed up qualifying. Well, we saw that when you started 17th with no time. But again, Nick has worked his way up into the 8th position. We'll go back to that battle here in a little bit. Right now, we've got this one heating up. 0.4 of a second splits 3rd and 4th here. Sandro Julius in the Ferrari, Friabile in the Alpine. And it looks like Friab's got a great run coming down the back straightaway to 130R. Caution flag flies sector 2. Again, not sure who that is. Looks like that might be Luke Smith and Logan Aron battling it out. Logan picks up the 9th position. Luke loses out on that as we ride along with Friabile. Simone Mora runs the fastest lap of the race, 132.908. And Friab's got a great run on Sandro down the front straightaway. Going to be able to easily go by him with the DRS down into turn 1. And Logan Aron has left the session. So internet issues for the championship winner of this year. His car is currently 9th. And this happened last week as well at the Miami Grand Prix. Lost connection, was able to get it back and finish the race. We'll see if Logan can do that again. So his car's going to circulate under AI. And caution flag flying sector 1. And looks like Friabile is pulling away from Sandro Julius. We're going to go back to that battle, though. Got Dion Stahl. Look at this. This is Tim Ventic all over the rear end of Dion Stahl's Ferrari. Whoa, and Dion loses the back end, bends it into the wall. And now it looks like we've got ourselves a full course caution, and I'm trying to see if the actual safety car is going to come out. Or if this is just a virtual safety car. Right now it's just a virtual safety car according to the signage. So I know that Tim was all over the back of Dion's car coming out of that corner. I don't know if maybe there was a little bit of desync and maybe there was contact made. It didn't look like it on the camera view that we had. Looked like Dion might have just gassed it too early, lost the back end. And it looks like Ivan Brito has officially retired from this session. Looks like that might be what's brought out the virtual safety car. Actually, it looks like his car might be in the pits. Maybe he's just retiring. A bad day for Ivan, unfortunately for him. And that's going to be disappointing to some of our viewers at home who tuned in specifically just to watch Ivan Brito today. Unfortunately, his race only lasted 7 laps. It looks like we're back to green flag racing. We've got some guys that are heading into the pits. Currently watching Tim Ventic and Nick Van Gelder as these Friabile And Vincenzo Torre headed into the pits along with Dion Stahl. That's going to move Nick and Tim up into the 4th and 5th position. Logan and Ron now up into 6th. Caution flag flies again in Sector 1 and 2. And Vincenzo Torre has picked up a 3-second timing penalty along with Noah Smith, who's running in the 13th position. Meanwhile, nothing's changed at the front. Simone Mara and Nicolo Falzaresi running 1 and 2. And because of the virtual safety car and everything else that's going on, looks like Sandro Doyas has been able to get into the 3rd spot with a 2-second gap over Tim Ventic. He was actually trying to hold on to that spot as Nick Van Gelder is trying to take it away. So a lot going on here in the opening 7 laps of this Grand Prix. Oh, and Ivan Brito got rear wing damage and just no chance to drive the car correctly. That explains a lot for Ivan Brito. And he did retire the car in the pits. So that's unfortunate for Ivan. Rear wing damage is just something that is very, very hard to overcome in this game. And especially at a high-speed track like this that's got some high-speed corners like that 130R and Spoon, it'd be very hard for him to run the race. And I respect Ivan for doing the right thing. He knows he's going to be a moving roadblock at that point. Better to just get the car off the track, call it a day. So I do give props to Ivan for that as we take a look at Nick Van Gelder with the DRS going to the inside of Tim Ventic. And he's going to pick up that 4th position heading into turn 1. Tim's going to try and get it back. Runs a little bit tighter corner. He's going to be all over the rear of Nick Van Gelder as we head through the S's. Now, is this exact scenario? Oh, it looks like there's Jure Marusic who's gone around. You're currently running in the 16th position. But this is the exact same scenario that we saw with Tim and Dion just a couple of laps ago. And again, I do just want to make another point that appreciate the fact that Ivan did do the respectful thing and try to get that car off track and out of the way. There's a lot of drivers that don't recognize their inability to drive the car when it's damaged like that. And again, rear wing damage, floor damage in this game have been very real this season, very hard to overcome. And some guys would continue to try on and become a moving roadblock, and Ivan thought better of that. So again, props to him for that. Unfortunately for the viewers at home that tuned in to see Ivan race, it only lasted a little while. But we're watching Nick Van Gelder try and hold off Tim Ventic through the 130R. Simone Mara runs the fastest lap again. Christian Dorman picks up a 3-second time penalty, and a caution flag flies in Sector 2, and it looks like that's going to be Christian Dorman, who loses a couple of positions. So Nick got a great run coming out of that chicane, separates himself from Tim Ventic just a little bit. It doesn't look like Tim's going to be able to take that position back, even though Tim had the DRS. And this is right now your closest battle on track. Looks like Tim was just in the grass coming out of that corner, went into the corner way too hot. And that is going to give Logan Aron, his teammate, a chance to catch up. So Logan, who had that spin on lap 1, got knocked around all the way in last and is now back up into the points, up into the 6th position. And that is why he is the championship winner for this season, is because of drives like this. And I think this has been a good learning experience for Logan. I think Logan has learned in the last few races here, especially with going up with the likes of Simone Mara, which is some foreshadowing heading into the next year. Free Abile, who started mid-season. I think Logan has found out that consistency is key. As long as he can keep putting points on the board, he can be in contention. He won the championship because of that. And it looks like Noah Smith has picked up a 3-second time penalty, Vincenzo Torre and Christian Dorman. So Tim trying to get back to Nick. Nick still running in the 4th position. Tim had that off heading into turn 1, was outside of DRS range. It was about 1.2 seconds back. He's now back to 0.8 of a second. And this is actually a 3-car battle that's starting to heat up. You've got Nick in 4th, Tim 5th, Logan Aron is 6th. And there is actually a battle going on. What the hell's going on here, game? Here we go. Got a battle going on for the 9th spot. This is Oleski on Robin Herderstegen. Robin had a great run last time out, finished 8th. Oleski all over the back of him. Looks like he's going to be easily to take this position away. drag race down the front straightaway, but Oleski's going to have the DRS. And just as I switch, of course, they switched. It looks like Nick had an off, maybe. It looks like Tim and Logan got around Nick. Nick goes from 4th to 6th, and unfortunately I missed that. As soon as I switched over to the battle for 9th, Oleski picks up that 9th position. Jesper Lempinen had just gotten around a couple of guys. He's going to move up into 12th as Dion and Noah head into the pits. So working lap 10 of 27 and another 3-second time penalty for Christian Dorman. Meanwhile, Simone Mara is your leader of this race. He is out in front of Nicolo Falzaresi to the tune of 2.3 seconds. You go 2.7 back from him. You pick up Sandro Duilius, who's having a great run today in the 3rd spot. This is one of Sandro's favorite tracks. We've got caution flags flying in sectors 1 and 3, and now sector 3. And it looks like that might be because of Dion's stall. Dion's got a little bit of a battle going on here with Christian Dorman. And it looks like Dion might have had a little bit of an off there. He just missed out. And while all that's going on, looks like Nicolo Falzaresi's closing that gap to Simone Mara. Did Simone have an issue, or does he have an issue? He's losing chunks of time. When we left, it was 2.7 seconds. It's now down to 1.6, 1.5. And Jurmo Rusic is going to retire from this race. Caution flag flies sector 3. I believe that's Jur trying to park the car in the pits. And Simone Mara, Dion Stahl with a 3-second time penalty, but no SRL race is complete without a Dion Stahl timing penalty. And the time still dropping for Simone Mara, 1.4 now back to Nicolo Falzaresi. I don't know if Simone's having an issue with the car, an issue with the tires. Caution flag flies sector 1. And Nicolo Falzaresi just ran the fastest lap of this race with a 1:32.679. That's a couple tenths faster than Simone's fastest lap. That gap is now down to 1.3. Perhaps some tire issues. I would think the hard tires could run a lot longer than they have, so I don't think he would be having issues so far. Meanwhile, the Haas team is battling side by side. There's no love loss here between these two guys, Tim Ventic and Logan Arand. Logan up into the 4th position. Tim's going to drop to 5th. And it looks like Friat Bile just got around Nick Van Gelder for that 6th position. Nick's going to drop back to 7th. Meanwhile, back at the front, Nicolo Falzaresi has now got that gap down to 1.3 seconds, 1.2. And Tim still battling it out with Logan. Even though Haas has won the Driver and Constructors Championship, it was not without a great championship fight towards the beginning and middle of this season. And these guys, even though they are teammates in the game, they are not very much teammates in real life. There is no love lost between these two guys. They don't work together. They don't conversate together. They don't have any team orders. They don't have any team plans. It was very much a Logan versus Tim situation, very much as you would see many years ago at McLaren with Ayrton Senna and Alan Prost. There was no working together this year. And Tim, former champion, as it would be, and it looks like Logan is going to head, it's actually Tim, I'm sorry, Tim's going to head into the pits. Logan's going to be able to stay out on track. Looks like Sandro's pitting as well. Sandro's coming out of the pits. He was 3rd when he went in. He is going to come out, and he's going to be just in front of Nick. And we've got full course caution, and again, I'm trying to see. Looks like this is actually going to be, actually, I think that's Logan coming out of the pits. So this should be a virtual safety car. Looks like we can yet see on the sign his virtual safety car. Don't know who that's for. We know you're retired from the session. got somebody who wants to see the number of pit stops for the drivers. We can put that up. And you see a lot of drivers have yet to make a stop. And we are hitting that. We've got Robin Herstag and Jesper Lempinen in the pits now. And we can also take a look here, see what tires we got going on for some of these guys. And it looks like we're back to green flag racing. Somebody's caught napping. That's Nick right on the tailgate there of Sandro Dulius. Now, Sandro just came out of the pits, fresh set of hards. Nick's been running those mediums. And you see that looks like, Nicolo Falzarelli. That's why I do not like the virtual safety car. It's too easy to try and gap the car in front or behind you. That gap that was 1.3 and falling right before the virtual safety car has now grown back to 2 seconds. So Falzarelli is going to have his work cut out for him. Logan Aron up into third, 23 seconds behind. Abile up into fourth. Central Dulius, they're still trying. He just came out of the pits, trying to hold off Nick Van Gelder. Nick still has to pit. As we are now halfway through this race, and some of these guys are going to have to start coming in here shortly to swap over these tires. Nick losing a little bit of ground, but Nick did start 17th on the grid and started dead last, has worked his way into 6th. Well, it looks like Sandro had an issue. Or no, it looks like they were flying by Dion Stahl. I'm sorry. Got my Ferraris mixed up. Nick's battling it, went out with a Ferrari. Sandro Dulius, I saw him go by a Ferrari. I thought it was Sandro, but it was Dion who's getting out of the way, letting these guys go through. Simone Mara takes back that fastest lap. So it looks like Simone was able to let his tires cool down a little bit during that virtual safety car, and he's now pulled a gap back out over Nicolo Falzarelli. It is now up to 3 seconds. So Falzarelli, who had that gap down to 1.3, lost 7/10 under the virtual safety car and has now lost an additional 7/10. He is now 3 seconds behind. It looks like Nick is finally going to head into the pits. That'll allow Vincenzo Torri, who we haven't talked a whole lot about today, move up into the 6th position. And here comes Tim Ventic. Looks like he'll be able to move up as well. Tim's going to go by. We'll see where Nick comes out in relation to all this. I don't know. And this is Luke Smith. So Nick's going to be able to come out of the pits comfortably in the 8th position. Swap over from the medium tires to the hard tires. We'll be able to run this all the way to the end. And Oleski has just ran the fastest lap of this race. We haven't talked a whole lot about him. He's currently running in the 10th spot. We did talk a little bit earlier about him. He's battling for that 3rd position in the point standings. So not everybody's made a pit stop yet. Let's actually take a look at that again. So your top 3 runners. That's really impressive. So Nicolo Falzarelli's heading into the pits now. Logan Aron has not made a stop, which is really impressive because he had that melee on the opening lap as heading into the S's. Never made a stop. He's worked his way back from dead last up into 3rd without making that stop. So good on Logan. That is some great driving there. Luke Smith yet to make a stop as well. Currently in 9th. So now Simone Mara, Logan Aron, and Luke Smith are the only drivers who have yet to make a stop. So Nicolo Falzarelli is going to try and do the over-under, as he's going to try and see what kind of speed he can put down. And right now, I think if Simone Mara pitted right now, he would still be able to come out in front of Falzarelli. The pit stop delta here is about 22 seconds. 20 to 22, depending on your crew. And I think Simone could definitely get in and out and still be running in first place if he wanted to try and do that. And it looks like Christian Dorman's going to get out of the way, let Simone Mara go by. through the 130 yard. We've got Sam Brandt talking about next season, if it's going to be a battle between Logan, Tim, Nicolo Friab, and Simone, then he's looking forward to it. I think in that scenario, I got to be honest, Sam, I think that's going to be a battle for second in position, because everybody's going to be chasing this guy, Simone Mara, putting on those medium tires. He's just shown that he is just too fast for the likes of even Logan Arond, who's got 11 podium positions this season. Logan, cream of the crop this season, and had a hard championship fight with Tim Ventic. But since Simone has joined, and like I said, he's going to come out in first, I mean, Simone has proven that he is going to be the driver to beat next year if he decides to run full time. There's no doubt about it. And even Falzarezzi, as fast as he was, and it looks like Christian Dorman is retired from the session, and we've got ourselves a virtual safety car once again. But even with the likes of Logan and Falzarezzi and Friabile, who is still looking for that maiden win in SRL, I don't think any of these guys are going to be fast enough to beat Simone. The only thing that's yet to be seen is how well Simone can run in wet weather conditions. We haven't had a wet race since he's joined the league. So Simone, even though he's very fast in the dry, could be the polar opposite when it comes to wet. We saw how good some of these drivers are over the course of this season in wet conditions. So we haven't had an actual safety car, but we've had a number of virtual safety cars throughout the course of this race, and now the safety car is going to come out. So full course caution, full safety car, and that is going to change things just a little bit for some of these guys. Now, Simone Mora just came out of the pits. Falzarezzi was in a lap before. Logan Arond, I don't believe, is pitted yet, and he is the last driver that is going to have to pit. And this is the problem that Logan has had this year. He's had some bad luck with safety cars that come out at the most inopportune times for him, and he has run one heck of a race from start to now, getting punted off after turn 1 and turn 2 heading into the S's, getting punted off, dropping all the way to 17th on the grid. He has driven his way all the way back through the field into third, and now he is going to lose a whole slew of positions because of the safety car. It looks like Friab's going to come in. Sandra's going to come in. Logan might luck out because some of these other guys came with him, so he might be able to come back out into third spot. A lot of these guys are coming. So, okay, for once, the hand of death did not touch Logan Arond's race with the safety car. Pits third, comes out third. Good on him. Looks like it's going to be the same for Friabile. Sandro Dulius, who's been running one heck of a race as well, up into the 5th position. Vincenzo's going to come out in 6th. And Nick's going to lose a couple more spots, unfortunately, but he started dead last. He's up into what is going to be 9th now. So some of these guys are taking advantage of this to get fresh tires. And it's probably going to be 7 or 8 laps to go in this race. Once we go back to green flag racing, it's probably going to take at least another 2 laps to circulate underneath the safety car to get everything back where it should be, get everybody in the queue the way they should be. So Simone Mara is going to have Falzarezzi all over the back of him. Falzarezzi, who was showing a huge flash in speed earlier in the race, was closing that gap to Simone Mara. We talked about it a lot. And then you've got Logan sitting in the 3rd spot. Friabile will be behind him. Friabile, again, has not finished outside of the top 6 since making his debut at round 9 or so, as it would be. He's got 7 podium finishes to his credit in a very short amount of time. And he's worked his way 5th into the points. I mean, it should be noted that, he's still in contention for that 3rd spot in the points. So if you take a look at, you get past Logan and Tim, who was 1st and 2nd. You've got Oleski sitting in 3rd in points with 178. Right behind him is Nicolo Falzarezzi with 171. But Friabile, 154 points to his credit. Something happens to Oleski and something happens to Nicolo Falzarezzi, I mean, Friab's shown more consistency than those two drivers. So even though those two drivers put more points on the board, they don't finish in the points as often. So Friab could work his way in these last couple of races, maybe bump himself up a spot or two. And then ironically, Sandro Dulius and Vincenzo Torri running 5th and 6th in the race. They are currently 6th and 7th in the point standings. Vincenzo Torri with 130 points to his credit, 127 for Sandro. So the battle for pride is still out there for these drivers who want to try and improve their championship finishing positions in the last couple of rounds that we've got going on. And Christian Dorman on the live chat saying it's a horrible season for him. Not completely horrible. Christian did have some good races earlier in the season and is a fairly consistent mid-pack finisher. I wouldn't say it was a completely horrible season for Christian. But I mean, realistically, only his 3rd DNF of the season. He hasn't run every race, but he's finished more than he is not, which is always a good ratio to have. I don't think Christian's given himself enough credit to deal with something like that coming into this league as a new driver with the Williams team. Not that we run equal performance, or not that we run unequal performance, but still. I mean, he has been the better Williams driver in comparison to George Wilkes. So, I mean, Christian Dorman did have a great run at Australia back in round 2 where he finished 5th. Finished 7th in Austria, backed that up with some more points, finished 9th at Coda. So I wouldn't say it's been a bad season. Maybe not the season that you wanted, Christian, but it's not the worst season. And it's been better than I think you're giving yourself credit for. And you can always practice and come back next year even stronger as the laps continue to wind down as we circulate underneath the safety car. We've lost Jesper Lempinen, Christian Dorman, Jur Marusic, and Ivan Brito. We started with 17 cars. We're now down to 13. Still waiting for a couple more to get into the queue. And actually, while I've been going through my notes, I haven't even noticed if we've had the notification come up for the safety car to come in as we continue to circulate from this latest caution. So Simone Mara leading this race, has led from the get-go, started on pole, hasn't given up the spot just yet. Nicolo Falzaresi started in, I believe, 4th, is up to 2nd. Logan Aran in the 3rd spot. Friab Bile currently running in 4th. Sandro Dulius is 6th. Sandro is 5th. Vincenzo Torri is 6th. Aleski is 7th. Jim Ventic is 8th. Nick Van Gelder is 9th. He started dead last on the grid. Starting in 16th was Luke Smith. He's worked his way into the points. Robin Herterstegen in 11th. Noah Smith, 12th. And Dion Stahl is in the 13th position. So waiting for the safety car to come in. And I said it'd be about 7 or 8 laps. Looks like it might be a little bit less than that. Six laps to go this time by. It'll be a 6-lap shootout. And we finally get the notification. Safety car is going to be in this lap. Nicolo Falzaresi is all over the gearbox of Simone Mara. And Nicolo, I mean, he is ready to go. He wants that spot. Nicolo has been a very aggressive driver this year. He has shown some great pace throughout some of these races. And he was showing some great pace earlier in this race. And he caught, look at this, he caught Nicolo napping right at the chicane. Nicolo almost loses a position out to Logan Aran, and look at this, already a 2-second gap for Simone Mara. Unbelievable, 2.2 seconds, that quick. And here comes Logan Aran. He's got the slipstream. He's all over the gearbox as they head down into turn 1. And Logan might, there might be a little bit of payback for earlier in this race when Logan was getting knocked around by Falzaresi. We'll see if Logan Aran thinks better of it, though. So they head through the S's. Sandro up into fourth, got around Friabile, and that's going to be the buffer that he needs over Vincenzo Torri. Oleski up into the 7th spot, though. Oh, and to the inside, here comes Friab, trying to get that spot back from Sandro. Meanwhile, Logan all over the back of Falzarezzi still. They head down into Spoon. Logan trying to run a little bit more tighter of a line, get a little bit more air on that left front part of the wing, get that car to rotate. And now they're going to be down the back straightaway. See if we can get that slipstream. Looks like Nicola Falzarezzi is trying to break that slipstream up just a little bit through the 130R. Hard on the brakes. And Friabile just got around Sandro for that 4th position, takes it back. And Friab's going to start his pursuit of the 2nd and 3rd battle. And that is a 3-car battle. Oh, and Sandro runs a little wide. Almost opened the door for Vincenzo Torri to get through and get by him. Uh-oh, Logan's had an issue. Logan had an issue, lost the spot out to Friabile, so now Logan is down into 4th, Sandro in 5th, and he's got Vincenzo Torri all over the back of him. He's bringing Oleski along with Tim Ventic. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, 5-car battle for this mid-pack position. Luke Smith has made his way past Nick Van Gelder for the 9th position, so Nick drops to 10th. Meanwhile, Sandro losing out another position. Oh, but look at this. Vincenzo runs wide, loses the back end. And Oleski, excuse me, up into the 6th position. Vincenzo pushing Tim Ventic wide. Tim's trying to go around the outside here at Spoon. And look at this battle as they head down the back straightaway into the 130R. Vincenzo's going to tuck back in behind Tim Ventic. Does Vincenzo take a dive? Vincenzo's going to take a dive. Going to make contact. Oh, and that's going to make contact with Luke Smith. And now the DRS is enabled, so a lot of these guys are going to have a head of steam coming down this front straightaway. Here comes Luke as he pulls out, and here comes Nick Van Gelder. Oh, and there's contact, and around goes Luke, and he's going to make contact with... Oh, I just missed it. Oh. The camera controls on this game are not great. They've actually been a little bit better in years past. So Luke made contact with Vincenzo there in turn 1. And Vincenzo picks up a 3-second timing penalty. So let's try and get resituated here. This is Logan Aran trying to make his way back into the 3rd position. You've got Sandro is up into 5th. Oleski is 6th. Tim Ventic, now things have settled down just a little bit. Tim Ventic into 7th. So that was crazy there for a second. And it looks like Jesper Lempinen is actually trying to reach out to Christian Dorman. Looks like the incident may have been between those two drivers that caused Christian Dorman to retire from this race. Robin Hertestag getting around. Oh, there's Noah Smith. Looks like he's had an off at the back straightaway. And he has lost his front wing. It's completely gone, so Noah's going to have to make a pit. Robin Hertestag up into the 10th spot. Nick Van Gelder now into 9th. Look how dirty Nick's car is. Nick has been off-road a couple of times this race. So Nick up into 9th. Vincenzo Torri is 8th. Tim Ventic in 7th as he's trying to close that gap down to Oleski for the 6th spot. Meanwhile, Simone Mara is out in front to the tune of 4.6 seconds over Nicolo Falzaresi. And Logan Arand once again has left the session. So he has started this race, had an internet issue, came back and rejoined, left again. We'll see if he can get back into these closing laps to hang on to that 4th spot, as his car is now going to go AI. Meanwhile, Oleski is closing the gap down to Sandro Dulius for the 5th position. Sandro would love to try and hang on to that 5th position. And Sandro now has closed the gap to Logan's car. Logan's car again is AI as we speak. So he'll get the DRS slot. It's open. Is he going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1? He thought about it. And caution flag flies sector 1. That is looks like that is Nicolo Falzaresi has had an issue into turn 1. And that moves Friabile up into the 2nd spot. Logan is now running 3rd, but Logan is not in control of his car. So Sandro is now battling for a podium position here at Suzuka with 3 laps to go in this race. An unbelievable turn of events for Nicolo Falzaresi, who's been so strong all day, running in that 2nd spot. He was never going to catch Simone Mara, but he needed to hold on to that spot. And here comes Sandro, side by side. Oh, and he's very close to Logan's car. And Logan's car, the AI strength turned up on it, running wheel to wheel with him as he tries to come out of that corner. And Sandro's finally going to get that position as they get ready to head into Spoon. And now Oleski has to work his way around Logan's AI car. Noah Smith picks up a 3-second timing penalty. We'll see if that affects him. And Logan has rejoined the race with 3 laps to go. So Logan doesn't have full control of his car just yet. Oleski's going to go by, and now we'll see if Logan, who's lost a couple of spots, can get them back. But Sandro, it looks like Logan's going to lose just 1 more spot as Falzaresi gets by him. So Logan should be back in control of his car now. And Logan is going to try and get that 5th position back. We see there's a battle going on here between Nick Van Gelder and Vincenzo Torre. This is for the 8th position. Vincenzo is to the inside, making a little bit of contact. They're rubbing wheel to wheel through the S's. It's a very dangerous spot to try and go side by side. Vincenzo's got that 3-second timing penalty. Nick doesn't need to fight him too hard. He just needs to stay within that 3 seconds to get that position at the end of this race. 2 laps to go. And Vincenzo picks up another timing penalty, and I can't... What is going on here? Head back to Sandro Dulius, who's in the 3rd position. He's got a 1.2-second gap over Oleski. Oleski has got a battle going on behind him, so this is 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th. They're all within DRS range of each other, with Oleski being the leader of that pack. Caution flag flies in Sector 1. That's probably for Noah Smith, who's just now coming out of the S's. And now Sectors 1 and 2, looks like Noah's having some issues with his car. Here we go. This is a side-by-side battle. 3-car battle as they head down into turn 1. That is Falzaresi. Falzaresi gets around Oleski for that 4th position. Logan Arand's coming with him. And this is some unbelievable driving right here. Running this close together through the S's. You guys are going to be experiencing some aero wash over the front of their vehicles with a loss of downforce. Oleski trying to get that 4th position back. Logan trying to move in on Oleski. Nicolo Falzaresi wants that 4th position. He's going to try and close the gap, but it's the final lap of this race. So Falzaresi is going to try and close that gap down to Sandro Dulius. Sandro running in the 3rd spot. And it looks like Nick just lost out that spot to Vincenzo Torre, but Vincenzo's got multiple timing penalties at this point, so Nick can still pick up that 8th position. Meanwhile, Simone Mara out in front all by his lonesome, 8.5 seconds ahead of second place runner Friad Bile. Simone Mara is going to make it 3 for 3. That's 3 races, 3 pole positions, 3 wins as he comes across the line once again to take the win. And he runs the fastest lap of the race on the last lap. That's just the nail in the coffin for everybody else. Here comes Friad Bile. Another podium finish for him. His 8th one of the season. Here comes Sandro Dulius with a well-deserved 3rd place finish. He's going to bring Nicolo Falzarezzi, Oleski, and Logan Arand with him. Tim Ventic is going to be 7th. Vincenzo Torri comes across the line. Nick Van Gelder should be able to get that 8th spot from him as he comes across the line. And then Robin Hertstegen quietly but methodically works his way once again into the points and puts some points on the board for Team McLaren. Luke Smith's race got turned around legitimately. He did not make a pit stop after getting punted. He's going to finish this race with a wounded car in the 11th spot. And then Dion Stahl, he's going to wish for better days as he's going to come across the line in 12th. And that is going to be your final running car. And NSG F1 saying he's done with this game. Randomly spins at 130R when every lap you can go flat out. Not sure who that is. That might be, I don't know who that is in relation to their gamer tag. But here we go. Simone Mara joined this league 3 races ago. And since he's been here, he's won every race, scored every pole position. And he's had 2 fastest laps. He is going to be the force to be reckoned with next season as he holds up another first place trophy. Friad Bile with another podium finish for him. So here's your unofficial results for today's race. Simone Mara with the win, followed by Friad Bile. Sandro Dulius with a well-deserved podium finish. Nicolo Falzarezzi. Oleski is 5th. Logan Arand is 6th. Tim Ventic is 7th. Nick Van Gelder 8th. Vincenzo Torri is 9th. And Robin Hertstegen is 10th, rounding out your top 10 points-paying positions. Luke Smith is 11th. Dion Stahl is 12th. Noah Smith is 13th. And then 14th through 17th is all DNFs. That is Jesper Lempinen, Christian Dorman, Jurma Rusic, and unfortunately Ivan Brito. So what a race today. Again, Simone Mara going to be the talk of the town. That's 3 for 3 as we head into round 20, which will be the penultimate round next time out. I don't know how many rounds we have in this season. And Sandro happy, finally picking up a podium finish. So good for him on that. What a race we had today. So everybody, thanks for tuning in to SRL. And while there are many SRL leagues, there's only one Sandro Racing League. Like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Instagram and on the internet for all your news and notes heading into next week's race. For any timing penalties that could be occurred after this race. Again, those were the unofficial results. I'm Kamikaze Fox. This has been SRL Season 8, Round 20 at Suzuka, and we will see everybody at the next round.